makers, Dango back with another episode of VoiceNoise. Today we're going to be talking about microphone technique for both studio and stage. We're going to be dealing with three main microphones, two of which are more commonly used, one of which is just one of my personal favorites, so it's a bit of a guilty pleasure for me. The first one we're going to be dealing with is this one right here. It's my studio microphone. This is the Rode NT1A. It's a large capsule, gold-plated diaphragm microphone. It's my favorite microphone to use for both this series as well as any of my vocal videos that I will post at the end of this video, so you can see actually how it works in its production. This microphone's a great microphone, but not a lot of people understand the importance of how to use it. So I'm actually using it improperly right now, so that way the camera can actually see my face instead of the way I'm supposed to be doing it on this microphone, as you can hear the difference right now. So let's talk about this microphone for a second. It's on a shock mount, which means that you're not going to get a lot of bouncing around noise. So there's not a lot of noise that will go on in the back of this microphone. It's mainly a directional microphone, meaning it's directed to the face or from the face of the microphone. As you can see here, I've got something called a pop filter. It's for something called plosive, so your hard P's, your hard B's, anything that has a gust of air coming out of you, going directly into the microphone. This will kind of thin out that air and disperse it rather than going directly into the diaphragm of the microphone. It's a great studio microphone. How I recommend using it is using the pop filter as kind of your guide. So what you want to do is get right up close to it, especially for those low, soft textured notes that you're trying to hit. You want to be able to get those textures to come out in your recording as much and as best as possible. So you want to make sure that you're getting the best quality of your sound. What you're also going to want to do is using this microphone standing up. If you're setting the height for this, you want to make sure that the tip of your pop filter will actually cover the top part of the bridge of your nose, and you want to make sure that it's no more than an inch away from your actual microphone. If you're too far away, you start losing color, you start losing texture, and you start losing volume, and it's a bit of a pain in the butt to actually EQ or equalize. Compressors are great. It monitors the highs and lows of your actual volume and is able to compress it based on that, but you don't want to fully depend on that because you actually lose a lot of the performance if you start moving too far away from the microphone or moving too close to the microphone where it starts peaking or clipping. I highly recommend this microphone, and what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to set a link down below for somebody who I actually subscribe to, and I think you should too if you're actually interested in understanding the comparisons of different condenser microphones or different microphones in general. His name is Mike Delgadio, and he is with Junkie, and I'm a huge fan of his, and you should be too if you actually want to get in on understanding how microphones really work and how they can work the best for you. Next mic I'm going to talk about is a simple SM58. It is the most common microphone for vocalist stage and studio, live off the floor, whatever you're doing. This should be your first microphone purchase in this style. It is a directional microphone. It is an amazing microphone. It's directional, again, meaning that the information that you're sending, the signal that you're sending into the microphone is going into this tip part. You are not singing from here. You're definitely not singing from here. Definitely not singing from here. I see a lot of singers using this improperly, moving it around so that way you're losing your lows and you're getting a lot of treble sound, or they're putting it too close and all they're getting is bass and muffled sounds. The way that I like to show people how to use this microphone is actually a very simple technique. The technique would be, you never want to cup the microphone, the head of the microphone. You're going to get feedback. You're going to interrupt the signal that you're actually delivering to it. So you put your hand right on the base of the microphone, and as you can see, I'm putting my thumb right on the ring of the head of the microphone, and that is how far away from the microphone you should be at all times. It's directional, so it's going towards my face in the right direction, and that is the way I'm going to be singing throughout my whole show or my whole clip. Anytime you start moving from that direction, you start losing texture, you start losing signal. So make sure that you're actually on the microphone and not singing above or below it or outside of it. Self-EQing is, I guess, it's a good thing if you understand what you're singing into the microphone. If you're belting out notes, obviously you don't want to be blowing into the PA speakers that you're singing out of, but at the same time, you don't want to pull away too much to where you are losing sound and in turn losing your performance. To get the most out of this microphone, it doesn't take much. You just have to know how to use it properly. Using it properly, there's a few different ways that different people will use it in different professions. So you have the ones that are mounted at all times, the more public address speeches. Singers should always be directed to the mouth. It should be used for the purpose that it's built for. You see comedians holding it down here. They're talking over the microphone. They're not really concerned with actually hearing the textures that should be coming through. They're not very texture-based arts when it comes to comedians, unless they're doing impressions or anything like that. So they'll be able to talk over the microphone rather than into it. Singers, just sing into the microphone. Keep it simple. Whether you're a rock singer, I've been in those rock bands where you're swinging the microphone around, or you're trying to figure out artsy ways of wrapping the mic cord. Please never do that. Just sing into the microphone. The performance can be laid in the rest of your body. This should be the lifeline of your performance in terms of its sound. Lastly, the microphone that is kind of my guilty pleasure. I've always loved this microphone. I have a tattoo of this microphone. This is the Super 55 microphone, as you see in all those oldies, and then it was re-emerged in the modern era with new equipment on the inside. This is basically this on steroids. I love this microphone for a few reasons. I'm going to talk about the pros and cons for a second. So as you can see, if I line it up next to my condenser microphone, the direction is the same. The diaphragm is a lot wider, as is this one. And if you look closely, I don't know if this will focus in on it, but you can actually see a bit of foam on the inside of the grate there, and that kind of acts as its own little pop filter, which is kind of neat. So you're not going to get a lot of plosives, you're going to get a great performance, and it's super durable. It's stainless steel. It's pretty heavy. So mounting this is pretty simple. There's the mount, there's the XLR input, and there you go. You mount it to your stand. If you're a piano player or a guitar player, this is a great microphone for you because it is stationary and it's not going anywhere. If you are a performer that is just utilizing the voice, maybe not the best microphone for you unless you can do some cool tricks with your mic stand. It's super versatile. The one thing I will say, because of its hard stainless steel texture on the outside, it is a bit of a hassle to EQ. It does sound a little bit tinny later on, so you want to make sure that your mids are taken care of. So dial back your mids, dial them up depending on what style of singer you are or what range you have. Your highs are going to be super high, your basses are going to sound kind of muddy, so you want to make sure that the soundboard that you're using for this microphone has the capability to make sure that the EQ is on point. Now, depending on whether you're on stage or in studio, obviously different techniques are going to apply. If you're in the studio, you're moving your body more than you're moving the microphone. If I move this microphone around, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be in the comments below talking about how I'm handling the microphone. Don't worry, I'm not going to do that, even though I probably have already. Where if you're on stage, you are moving the microphone away and towards you. So you're basically moving your body in the studio and the actual microphone on stage. What I tend to see a lot of the time is people using the studio technique on stage. Now, that is okay, obviously, but a lot of the times, because we're not in that zone of the studio, we're not so immersed in what the sound is going to be like as if we were in the studio. When we're on stage and we pull away with our body, we tend to forget some of the techniques and the textures that should be going into the song that we are losing over a crowd of people or in a large room. So using your arm to actually showcase what the microphone can do and obviously what you can do is very important. So just make sure if you're putting it on the stand, utilize the base of the microphone stand and bring that microphone towards or away from you. Unless you're actually playing an instrument, in that case, obviously your body is going to have to do. One thing that I do see a lot of the time, and it kind of grinds my gears a little bit, is seeing singers who aren't playing an instrument putting this on a microphone stand and then holding on to the microphone anyway. And I don't know what that's doing for you. I don't know if it's an artistic choice, but it isn't actually doing anything for your sound. So please, if you're going to be on stage using a microphone like this, just make sure that you're using the proper technique so that way you're getting the best out of your performance and your audience is getting the best out of your sound. Like I said, I'm going to put a link for Mike Delgadio's page for Booth Junkie down below, so that way you can actually understand what the microphones are actually doing. I'm talking about microphone technique. He gets into the technical abilities of the microphones themselves. He talks about the NT1A, he talks about the SM58, he compares microphones. He's absolutely amazing. I'm a subscriber, you should subscribe as well. He's very informative, especially for those who are getting into voice acting. He is your guy. When it comes to vocalization, obviously there's going to be different microphones that are going to do more for you. We could talk about the SM7B. The Shure SM7B is an amazing microphone for vocalists, podcasters, voice actors. It is a beautiful microphone if you're willing to spend the money. The NT1 and the NT1A from Rode is one of my favorite microphones to use. I use this one daily because it works for the textures of my voice and my surrounding areas. My whole studio isn't completely soundproof, so this microphone is great for getting rid of the outside sound. If you have any questions about your mic rigs at home, please feel free to comment below, or again, check out Booth Junkie and get the answers that you need for the microphone that you have. In the next coming episodes, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We talked about fundamentals, but I'm going to be getting into actual singers. I'm going to be talking about different singers and what techniques they're using based on the videos that I've already done. So make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, so that way you can see what's coming out next. And make sure you watch those previous videos so that way you know what I'm talking about in the next videos. Because next time we're here, I'm talking about Freddie Mercury. So have a great day, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.